Introducing Broly into the Dragon Ball Super canon is going to change things for sure, but that's not the only big event coming down the pipeline. Right now, we couldn't be more excited for the latest storyline in the Dragon Ball Super manga. It's called the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, and of course it's going to feature a powerful new villain. Who will it be? And perhaps more importantly, what does this mean for the universe? Let's find out. While we suppose there's never a bad time to be a Dragon Ball fan, right now is a particularly good one. At long last, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly is being welcomed to the main canon with the film Dragon Ball Super Broly. Okay, maybe Bio Broly was a bad time to be a Dragon Ball fan, but let's try to forget about that one so we can sleep at night. Now, we're looking forward to all sorts of new exciting changes, including the upcoming storyline in the popular Dragon Ball Super manga, the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc. Since Dragon Ball Super Broly is canon, we know that the continuation of the manga will take place following the events of the movie. Obviously, we all want to know how the movie is going to impact the manga, but we also have a ton of questions about the newest villain. We've seen some tantalizing previews for the last Dragon Ball Super manga arc, and many questions still remain. Frankly, the Dragon Ball Super universe can be a little bit confusing to outsiders. There are terrifying demons, divine creatures, Saiyans who are aliens from outer space, and a character named Mr. Satan, who's just a regular human guy. And the greatest fighter on Earth, according to him. The whole evil divine thing in the Dragon Ball universe is kind of like the technology and magic issue of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're both similar in many ways, but at the same time, there are some differences between them, and it's hard to tell when they overlap. Frankly, you'd think that in a world where most of the characters have power levels, it would be a bit easier to keep track of things. But when it comes to the non-Saiyan characters, things can get pretty confusing. And at times, it seems as though the numbers don't matter all that much. There's the mighty King Yema, who oversees the dead and decides where characters spend their afterlife. But how powerful is he really? Well, he spends most of his days filling out paperwork, so it's hard to say exactly, but he's clearly on the lower end of the magical entity spectrum. Then we have Shenron, who we all know is the one who doles out those wishes to those who collect all the Dragon Balls. But as we also know, his power isn't absolute, and there are plenty of restrictions about what you can wish for. It's kind of like the you can't wish for more wishes thing. You can only wish for things Shenron can actually grant, and he's not all-powerful. Which brings us to Kami, who's the guardian of Earth. Not that he did a particularly good job of it. Seriously, between him and Goku, it's amazing planet Earth isn't just a smoldering crater by now. In fact, Kami was so bad at his job that he was replaced with Dende. Yes, in Dragon Ball, even the most godly characters don't have great job security or a good retirement plan. It's tough times we live in. When we move up a level, we have King Kai, or Kai of the North. He oversees the northern quadrant of Universe 7, and of course, there are some divine characters who are above him as well. King Kai and the other Kais of Universe 7 are all watched over by the Grand Kai, and then we have the Supreme Kai, also known as the Kaioshin. These guys are responsible for creating life and various worlds, and it's possible for more than one of them to be assigned to a particular planet. Sorry, we know this is getting pretty Kai-razy, but above the four Supreme Kais is the Grand Supreme Kai, who oversees the entire universe. Now, it might seem like a divine being such as the Grand Supreme Kai would be absolutely unstoppable, but that couldn't be further from the truth. As we said, divinity doesn't guarantee absolute power. Even if a character is a god, they can still be taken down by a particularly ruthless alien. Daikaioshin ruled over Universe 7, and his favorite hobbies were eating and maintaining the peace. He was absolutely annihilated by Majin Buu, who absorbed him. Majin Buu may have literally absorbed a god, but it didn't work out so well for him. Daikaioshin was such a great guy that he imbued Buu with goodness, turning him into Good Buu. So, yes, in Dragon Ball, there are gods, but they can also be eaten. Then we have Zeno and his counterpart, Future Zeno. These two are the most powerful beings in the universe, and they're in charge of all the other gods. They can erase universes from existence on a whim or just by accident. Even the other gods get nervous around Zeno, but not Goku, who's pretty much too dumb to know when he should fear for his life. Now, let's catch up with the Galactic Patrol, originally known as the Space Police or the Galaxy Police. These guys fall under the jurisdiction of the Galactic king, and their goal is to maintain order throughout the galaxy, especially when it comes to time travel. It seems like with all of the bad guys running around all the time, these guys would show up a lot more often, but the truth is, the Galactic Patrol just isn't that powerful, or at least they haven't been shown to be so far. They're stronger than the average human, but they're not going to be able to take down bad guys like Frieza or fight against the Saiyans. In fact, it's the Saiyans who might potentially have the power to disrupt the tenuous balance of divine power in the universe. Goku and Vegeta have always been strong, and you know these guys are never ones to slack on their training, or the opportunity to get some upgrades during a tournament of power. In the Dragon Ball Super manga, we've learned that Goku has been training with the powerful Whis. In the manga, it was revealed that Whis had also helped train Beerus, who is a powerful god of destruction. These entities are pretty much the opposite of the Kai, who are generally good. In terms of power, the good and bad divine entities seem to be pretty evenly matched. They have sort of a yin and yang dynamic and maintain balance for the most part. But if that was always the case, Dragon Ball Super would be a whole lot less interesting. Now, let's talk about Moro, the villain from the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc. When we first spotted this new bad guy, it's not surprising that so many fans thought he may be a demon. He has a pair of frighteningly large horns and seems like he could easily be a demonic entity. In Dragon Ball Super, he's shown to be a powerful wizard with the admittedly awesome nickname Planet Eater Moro. So far, we know his story starts out about 10 million years ago, which is frankly nothing in Dragon Ball time. Back then, he was a huge threat to our humble Universe 7 and brought about the ruin of 320 different planets. He also battled with Dai Kaioshin and the South Supreme Kai. While we know that it's far more than demonic forces who challenge the Kai and even triumph, Moro's powers seem more mystical than what we're used to seeing from mere mortals. He rains comets from the sky and consumes the energy of planets, which, as you can imagine, isn't exactly healthy for the planet. Eventually, the gods manage to subdue him and seal off his magic, leaving Moro himself to be imprisoned by the Galactic Patrol. See what we mean about the power of the Galactic Patrol? They can help clean up a mess, but as far as heavy hitting goes, they need some help. As punishment for his crimes, Moro's sentenced to death. But there's one small issue. Even in his weakened state, Moro's still way too strong to be killed. So, the Galactic Patrol ends up simply locking him up for millions upon millions of years. Eventually, the seal on his power breaks, allowing Moro to easily escape from the clutches of the Galactic Patrol. In order to have a really great Dragon Ball Super story, you need to have an incredible and immensely powerful villain. The power of the Saiyans versus demonic forces and divine beings is something we believe will be further explored in the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc. In the manga, we see Goku and Vegeta teaming up with the members of the Galactic Patrol, who kidnap Majin Buu in order to extract Supreme Kai from Buu's body. It seems like if this is the sort of thing they're capable of, they should have done it quite some time ago. But the reason for the extraction now is because Moro has escaped, and the Galactic Patrol wants Dai Kaioshin to stop him again. When we found out he was being included in the official canon, we were thrilled at the idea of Broly becoming a more well-developed character. But we also knew this meant that whoever came after him would have to be incredibly powerful. After all, it would be something of a huge letdown to come off Dragon Ball Super Broly and be met with a less than impressive villain. So there's no doubt that Moro is a powerful guy, and that he's up to no good. We can't imagine he sat around in prison for millions of years reflecting on the error of his ways. It was probably more like he was just stewing with anger and plotting his revenge. And let's talk about the fact that Mauro has existed for millions of years in the first place. Time is a bit strange in the Dragon Ball Super universe, and Saiyans live a bit longer than human beings. On average, Saiyans live for about 75 to 100 years, and they retain their youthful appearances and vitality for much of that time. Of course, there are various different types of life in the Dragon Ball Super universe, but most of them don't have such long lifespans. The beings you see easily living for millions of years are creatures like gods and demons. And sure, the Galactic Patrol aren't as strong as gods or Saiyans, but they aren't exactly weaklings themselves. Even with all their might, they were unable to destroy Moro, even after he had been stripped of all of his magic. Plus, while we know you don't have to be from the demon realm in order to fight with the gods of Dragon Ball Super, it certainly helps, and we've seen them go head-to-head before. With all of this in mind, it certainly seems more likely than not that Moro hails from the demon realm, since it would explain his motivation, his powers, and his longevity. Having Saiyans like Goku and Vegeta step into the fray here says a lot about their current power levels, and hints to their potential. Also, having characters as powerful as Goku and Vegeta around is frankly problematic for the precarious balance of good and evil in the world. Sure, we know these two aren't bad characters, but what about all of their opponents? Will Goku and Vegeta ultimately have to step up in a huge way when it comes to protecting our planet planet from much more than rogue aliens? We're already excited for the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, and now we can't wait to see what implications it has for the rest of the Dragon Ball Super universe. What do you think about Moro and the role he has to play in the Dragon Ball Super universe? Will Goku end up standing between the forces of good and evil? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and then click on that subscribe button for more Dragon Ball videos from us here at CBR. Thanks for watching.